You guys good?
Yeah.
All right, we are good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Social with a Side of Justice.
Today we are joined by the creator and founder of Malia Bloom, Pamela Major.
Pamela, thank you so much for joining us today. Today we are going to start things off a little differently. Before we hop into our interview, Pamela is going to be teaching us how to make one of the recipes from her cookbook, The Comfort. We'll be making RC's chili.
Thank you so much. We're just going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be sitting down to chat with Pamela Major.
Welcome back to Social with a Side of Justice. Today we are sitting down with Pamela Major.
Pamela is an entrepreneur, author, speaker, cook, and community activist, and we are so honored to have this opportunity.
So, Pamela, can you tell us exactly what Malia Bloom is and what inspired you to create it?
Sure. A lot of what I do is always associated around family and around myself. And the Malia was actually a resort that my family stayed in Nassau when we went for a family reunion. And I looked up the word Malia because I love looking up the meaning of words. And Malia and Pamela actually mean the same thing. They both mean honey.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that would be a perfect name for my company. And Malia Bloom, meaning honey, which is the meaning of Malia and Pamela. Honey, grow, become mature, be the best expression of yourself. And as a life coach, trainer, and speaker, I want people to be at their best. And I know that each day we can be a little bit better. And so I couldn't think of a better name to give the company than Malia Bloom, to encourage people to be sweet to one another and say hard things kindly.
Yeah.
Right? Honey, grow, mature, be your best. And that's it.
You kind of touched on why it was important, but why is Malia Bloom important?
It's important because I consistently run into people who call themselves grown-ups, right? I stopped calling myself a grown-up. I'm a growing up. Because when you're grown, right, the next thing is decay.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're growing, the next thing is growing. The next thing is becoming better. And I want to encourage people to not stop where they are. Right? We can be happy. Like, I'm good today. I'm happy. I'm here with some great young people. I'm happy. It's a great day. but I can have better tomorrow, and I'm convinced of it, and I want to help other people know the same thing.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. You also created the Her Harvest Women's Outreach Program, right? What does this program do?
This program, which has really transitioned, this program helps women, again, understand where they're at, who they want to be, and really encourages them to pull that out of themselves. And the questions and the projects and the workshops that I do with them during that program help them to do that. And Her Harvest has now transitioned into the work that I do with Lunch Break, and the program is called Women's Worth. And we're getting ready to start that in January. So we're still going. We're still helping women be better.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge in creating these companies and programs?
The balance of time. Balancing, and we were talking off camera, and I was saying how I can't wait till Christmas week.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to watch, I'm saving up the movies to watch. It is remembering that if I don't take care of myself, there is no Malia Bloom.
Yeah.
There is no outreach. There is no helping other people. We were talking about this with my accountability group the other night. You pour from the saucer, not from the cup. And if a cup, even if a cup that's filled with water or any liquid stands still, the atmosphere is going to take moisture out of it. So you have to be intentional about filling your cup.
Yeah.
And so that week, cup filling time.
Yeah. I definitely believe like self-care is like a big part in how we are as humans.
I agree. What has been the most rewarding part of it all?
Wow. When the people that I work with have breakthroughs. When I had a woman say to me, I didn't know I could dream. And that for me, it still gives me chills that I'm part of her story. I'm the part of her story that ignited her to know that she can dream of a better, bigger life than she has. So that's it for me. It's client success, bottom line, client success.
Why are programs like the one you've created important for our community?
Because happy people make happy communities. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I can elaborate, but I would say when you're happy, you want your neighbors to be happy. You want the block to look happy. You want it to be clean.
Yeah.
You want the best and the brightest for everybody. You know, you want to put up the best decorations. You want to plant the best flowers. And you want to help your neighbor do the same thing. When you're miserable, none of the above.
Yeah.
So it helps people be happy, and happy people help people.
I feel like even like one negative thing or one negative person can really like drag you down or something like that. So I feel like if everyone's trying to be the best version of themselves and be, you know, as happy as they can be, then that's important on how, you know, you feel as a person.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how can people join?
Well, they can certainly email me if they're interested in the Women's Worth program. Email me soon because we're doing orientation on Monday night. They can call, they can email info@Malia Bloom, Malia with an E. They can, get to my website, maliabloom.com, and we're happy to have as many women be a part as possible.
Okay. I love the themes of growth through like all of this, always striving to be better than you are. What have you learned about yourself or your community from your work in community outreach?
I didn't know that my heart was so big for this. I didn't know that I would be, and I'm a crier, I didn't know I would be shedding so many tears for the joy of people succeeding, or the pain of watching people who aren't ready to move on. You can never make anybody move before they want to. That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt when I see that they are not willing or not ready at this time to move to their next level.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You mentioned earlier, but some of the organizations you work with, such as Project Right Now, Lunch Break, and Mercy Center, all help and give back to the community. Is this like a quality you look for when choosing to collaborate with other organizations?
Absolutely. Not all nonprofits do the type of work that I'm interested in, and that is really to work with youth and with women. And Mercy Center, which I'm involved in a domestic violence, sexual violence program with the faith community, which is a big part of my life. And Lunch Break with the Women's Worth program. Project Right Now, who does work in school systems, and they have me working in one of the school districts, and I'm super excited to be able to do that. It feeds my soul.
Yeah.
And it is on, you know, a lot of times we talk about on brand. It's on purpose for me.
So, like, why would you want to work with women and children specifically? Like, I know, out of all.
That has been a seed planted in my soul from the time that I was very young, and you know, you can't shake your call, or you can, but what kind of life is that, right?
What led you to this career path?
I was 5 years old, sitting on the floor next to my grandmother, who had fallen asleep after watching her soap operas, but you don't dare turn the channel. And there was a show called The Galloping Gourmet that had been replaced by the show that was called The Psychiatrist, which I think lasted a season. But what I got from that was the people came into his office and they were sad and depressed. And when they came out, they were standing up straighter. They were more vibrant. And I said at 5, I want to own a business, and in that business, I want to help people feel better about themselves. And it was kind of a circuitous route, but I'm here.
Yeah.
We're so very glad that you are and you're able to speak with us today. Do you think this is like why you became a teacher?
Yeah, I think teaching was part of my journey. Working with young people it's incredible. It's incredible. Working with the very young, they're particularly honest.
Yeah.
They can be particularly harsh, and they can be extravagantly loving. So teaching 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade was an amazing adventure. But I also did pre-college programs and programs for young people that had dropped out of high school but wanted to get their GEDs. So, and I've been a daycare director. So I've literally done from the crib to college when it comes to young people. So it is all exciting and wonderful for me.
I love that. Now let's talk about cooking. When would you say your passion for cooking started?
That same age, 5 years old, that same grandmother in her house, and she was cooking, and I was looking around the kitchen, and I was thinking about the incredible food that came from there. I literally call the kitchen the love lab because I feel like there was so much love that was put into everything that she did. And I looked around and I said, Grandma, can you teach me how to cook? And without missing a beat, she said, come over here and stir this until I tell you to stop.
Yeah.
And she never gave me a recipe, but she gave me technique, and she gave me the, what would I call it, the example of turning ingredients into love. Yeah.
What types of food do you like to cook?
Gosh. It really all depends on the mood that I'm in, and sometimes the season of the year, like because we're in the Thanksgiving to Christmas season, I'm into turkeys, and I love to brine turkeys, and I've even figured out how to make smoked turkey in the oven, but you have to brine it properly with the right seasonings, and so, you know, it's that then, and it's it can be different types of green salad and fruit salad and macaroni and potato salad as we get towards the summer. And soups all the time. Soups all the time.
Our theme this year is food insecurity. In your roles, do you see this as being an issue in your community?
It is absolutely. The school that I am working with, there have been several students that have mentioned that they don't have enough food to eat. And we have connected them with local food pantries so that that's no longer a problem. And I'm working with the person in my city, but she works actually county-wide to help cities make sure that the people are eating. And she does a program, Karen Moskowitz, who a shameless plug, I hope you all will interview her as well this year. She does a program that fresh fruits and vegetables are in all the food pantries from May through Thanksgiving. It's awesome.
How can we as students work to fix this?
You can educate yourself. You know, I used to have to walk to the library and get an encyclopedia and make really challenged copies when I was your age so that I could get information. You guys can Google and you can YouTube. Educate yourselves. Find out what's needed. Find out who doesn't have it. And then make sure that everybody that can do something, and I know, one of your council members and know your mayor, and they have open ears. They have open ears. They'll listen to you. And I would say, work together. I'm always happy to help you, so you all know how to find me. I'm always happy to help. And, let's make a difference.
Yeah. I know off camera we were also talking about food pantries, and do you think that these are getting more healthier and more accessible?
Oh, absolutely. I have seen some of the best Swiss chard, kale, carrots. I had some sweet potatoes, and I was just like, I want the whole farm where these sweet potatoes were grown because they were so delicious. Just wash them, bake them. I put cinnamon on them because I wanted to, not because I had to. They were delicious. And these are things that are actually, they have more nutrient value, right? Gone are the days of the label-less dented cans in food pantries. Now you are getting fresh and delicious food. And I will say lunch break also, I was part of this 2 years ago. They had an initiative where they decided that they were going to have other types of food, healthy food. They decided that there were certain foods that were highly processed, high in sugar, that they wanted to take out of their pantry because they wanted people to live.
Yeah.
You just kind of touched on this, but why is this change to food pantries important?
We are in a situation where people need assistance. They're working hard. They're sometimes working 2 and 3 jobs, and it's just not enough money. And so if the food pantry can make up 10, 15, 20, 30% of their food budget, then it gives families more wiggle room to be able to pay bills, to purchase prescriptions, to do the things that they need to do for their everyday living. And by having food pantries that have good, nutritious food, that also may diminish the need to go to the doctors and to have as many prescriptions. And I just think that is a phenomenal, it's such a win-win-win.
Yeah.
So I love knowing about it, and I love sharing it so that more people can take advantage. And don't look at it with a pride issue. Look at it towards the future. If you're able to now take 20% more of your budget and put that into savings for your children, for your family, so that you can do things, because the food pantry has the kind of food that will help you live. Hey, why not?
Yeah. And I know we were talking about how saving is such a big deal, so that's important that they can focus on saving for more. We know you're a huge activist. How can food serve as a form of activism?
Sure. Well, there's something, and I think your teachers will probably be nodding at this. There's something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. One of those needs is food. right? We got food, we got shelter. Belonging, I think, is on the next level of need, right? If you don't have food and shelter, why would you want to know the times tables? Like, what is the interest in knowing that
Yeah.
when you can't focus because you're hungry? We know that poor food intake can contribute to mental illness, right? So just eating healthy, nutritious food that we can now get at the food pantry can help you to live longer and better, to be a better student, right? To be able to attend to what it is that your teacher is saying, to not have an attitude because your stomach is speaking louder than your mouth, right?
Yeah.
So all of these things contribute to better community, to better workforce, to better relationships. And so that's why it's a big deal with food activism, so to speak. And some people call it even food apartheid, right? When they're what so-called food deserts. Let's let people eat, right?
Yeah.
Let the people eat so that people can think and work more efficiently. And you as students can do better jobs because, hey, all the nutrients that my brain needs, all the healthy fats that my brain needs, it's got it. So now I can pay attention and do well with my schoolwork.
Yeah. You wrote a cookbook called The Comfort for the Body and the Soul. Now, this isn't just any ordinary cookbook. According to the description, The Comfort is Pamela Major's story of tragedy to Trump. I always stumble on this word. Triumph. I can't get that word for some reason. With soup as a vehicle for healing.
Can you tell us more about your cookbook and the purpose that it hopes to serve?
Sure, absolutely. I had a soup company, and on the cover of the book are many of the soups that I made. I actually had over 30 soup recipes, right? And oddly enough, the anniversary of my father's transition from earth to heaven is tomorrow. And the chili that we're making is his chili. That's one of the soups that he taught me to make. That and his turkey soup, world famous turkey soup, all around the city. Everybody used to call us Thanksgiving. Is the soup? Is did Dad make the soup? You know. So I'm an only child, and I don't have any children, and not married. And my parents died 51 weeks apart, and so it threw me, and it was like trauma, depression. Who am I now that, you know, my main support system on earth is gone? Like, how do I live at this point? And, you know, I can do things mechanically very well. Like, I know how to get up and go to work. I'm a hard worker. I know how to do all of those things. But inside, I was really just a mess. And I was walking across the kitchen floor. I was staying with a friend at the time, waiting for my apartment to be ready. And I'm walking across the kitchen floor, and I hear, "You make soup." I was heating up some soup because I was sick. And I heard, "You make soup." And I was like, I got 2 recipes. What am I doing with that? And that night, as I laid down, I always have a journal with me. Always, always, always. Even if it's a note to my iPhone. And Apple does not pay me. Even if it's the notes function there, I'm always writing things down. And that night, all these names of soups came to me, and not like chicken noodle soup, like dirty turkey, coconut curry shrimp, chicken confetti, summer holiday. They all just kept coming. So I just wrote them down. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to write this down and I'll figure out the recipe later. And that's just what I did. And what happened was I recognized that each one of these soups had a direct connection to my upbringing, to my heritage. My father's family is Bahamian and Jamaican, and so I've got a couple of curry recipes in there. Dirty turkey is a reference to our Thanksgiving meal because we always had dirty rice. We didn't have cornbread stuffing or oyster stuffing, which is fairly classic. So they're all references to that. And when I came to realize it, it was like then I could stop making the soups. But people didn't want me to stop making the soups, so I made the cookbook, so now they can make the soups. And also the seasoning blends. I don't know if we were going to talk about them, but I did create a line of seasoning blends because they're all in the recipes, so you can't very well have the book without the blends.
Seeing how like each soup kind of has a connection to you, is there any recipe from the cookbook that is your favorite or that you just gravitate towards more?
Again, it's seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, it's Russell's rustic turkey soup, which I will be making next week. It is the chili because it's cold. Like today is like 30,
Yeah.
not enough degrees.
Cold outside.
You know, and yeah, dirty turkey because of the Thanksgiving reference, Russell's rustic, and the chili. So towards the summer, it's summer holiday, which is it's a barbecue chicken soup, and who
Oh,
doesn't
that
want
sounds
a barbecue
good.
chicken soup with fresh corn in it? Like who doesn't want that? So yeah, so it's again seasonal.
Now, before we started today, we talked about soup and how it can be super nutritious and cheap and easy to make. Can you just go in a little bit more detail about that?
Sure. Well, soup, a lot of it, I mean, historically, soup was let's fill my family's belly
Yeah.
because we don't have enough. So it was taking the scraps and the leftovers with some water, some herbs, some seasoning, and throwing it in a pot. And honestly, we can still do the same thing today. And, you know, you're talking about sustainability. We touched on this a little bit. Taking that chicken and instead of throwing it out, make stock.
Yeah.
You know, throw some carrots, some celery, some onions, things that we normally have. Throw that in the pot with some seasonings, preferably, of course, Major Savor. never lose a chance to advertise. Throw that in and let it go to work. And, you know, you have now taken one meal and turned it into probably a third meal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You've talked about food being love. Do you have a specific recipe that just reminds you of home?
All of them. All
Okay.
of them, yeah.
So, not only do you have your own cookbooks, but you also have your own brand of spices too, Major Savor.
Yes.
Where can our listeners also pick up a copy of your book?
They can email me. They can go to Amazon for the book. For the blends, they can email me, and you know, and then show off what you did. I get videos on a regular basis of people cooking with Major Savor, so it's pretty cool.
Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we will check on our chili.
Okay.
Remove that camera back. Actually, is that where we're ending everything, or like how?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what we're supposed to.
Are they gonna talk? Good dialogue?
How about we taste it, and then they talk about it, and we come back here so we can stay with the mics and not have to.
Yeah, if anything, we could do like, Jen, since you're the closest, you can have it in front. Like we'll move the cookbook so you can have it in front. So that way, when we're tasting it, we can have that camera zoom in.
Just tell them when.
Okay. So this one, you know how we zoomed into the cookbook? Let's have this zoom into Jen eating the soup.
Is that going to be put on?
Or even if you could just stand it again, you could just like kind of hold and show the soup.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was gonna ask. I was like, "How are we doing? How are we doing?"
fix that. Let me know when you're ready.
We're back, and here's the chili. Can you go over the steps of the process of making it?
Sure. The first thing, and this is a tip, right? Cut up your vegetables, like do the dicing of your onions, peppers, anything that you have to dice, like do that in advance, because it will make the cooking go so much faster. So throw in the olive oil, throw in the peppers, onions, anything that you have to do like that, do that. Let that sweat basically become soft, translucent. Then we threw in the turkey. Let that, we seasoned the turkey with Major Savor Carib, with chili powder, cayenne, and a few other things. You will get the book, you'll find out what. And then let that go for a while, followed by the beans and the diced tomatoes, followed by the crushed tomatoes, and then our good friend thyme does the rest. Thyme and heat.
Okay. You want to try the chili? Yeah. And there you have it, guys. Here's an easy and delicious way to make chili. Pamela, thank you again so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Delicious.